If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm laying there asleep, and like a wombat, here comes Shaheen, a bearded man, standing over top of me. He's staring into my eyes, and he's like, shh.
This is Making the Merge.
We can very well win this thing.
I'm a dog person now.
Line them up, let's knock them down.
You told me your dog was sick. I'd say, I'm coming over.
You know, I crack open a coconut and they didn't cheer for me.
You're either in a survivor or you're not.
It's not about the $1 million. All I want to do is win a million hearts.
Million hearts.
Big mistake.
Banu for season 50. Welcome to Making the Merge. My name is PD. I am joined by two people who will not be on season 50, Chase Bridges and Brandon Gray.
Here's what happens when you speak out of turn, PD. You don't know what I've been doing. You don't know the meetings I've been a part of.
You're right.
That's true. He's been hanging out with Jeff's co-host from CBS.
That's exactly right.
On fire.
I'm a wolf boy. But no, I won't be on 50. I'll be on 51.
And Jonathan won't be on this podcast today, unfortunately.
Oh, I thought you meant forever.
That's right, fans. You got what you wanted. We kicked him off.
Yeah, forever. Jonathan has been fired from Making the Merge.
That's right.
It's because he disliked David so much. We had to get rid of him. David's the GOAT.
David's the GOAT.
If the criteria for staying on this show is loving David, then I think only one person's going to be doing this show, and that's
my
your cousin.
Yeah.
Hallahan Bridges.
Love that guy. Love Hallahan. He has bad takes, but I love that guy.
Yeah.
All right. Should we talk about Survivor on this Survivor show?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or we could just talk about, our favorite thing, Katy Perry. But no, let's do it.
We can talk about Katy. I haven't gotten to talk about Katy Perry yet, guys. I haven't gotten be a part of the Sanctuary episode.
Okay,
I got a lot to say about Katy Perry.
Are you a big Perry head?
Can you join us on the Sanctuary for it then?
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. I want you to give your 10 minutes of unfiltered Bran Katy Perry takes in the next Sanctuary.
I'll give it to you. Really quickly, I want to give a shout out to Puzzle Nerd Jenny, who left a review on Apple Podcasts.
Whoa.
I think that I'm assuming they created a name just for that, which is fantastic. And they just said, I don't have anyone to talk Survivor with, so I genuinely look forward to listening after watching, and I often laugh out loud. And then did a robot emoji. Chrissy is speaking in all caps with another robot emoji, which I thought was really nice. So thank you to Puzzle Nerd Jenny.
Well, thank you, Puzzle Nerd Jenny.
Be like Puzzle Nerd Jenny and leave a review. They make our hearts soar.
But also, I want somebody to leave a review under the name Strong Guy Alliance Jenny.
Or Chocolate Milk Captain America.
Yeah, if he leaves a review, it would be 1 star.
Yeah, they would be like, too harsh.
Hey, David, he did like the clip. We made a clip making fun of David, and he liked it.
Well, there you go.
So he was a good sport about it.
Good sport.
Something tells me he's not going to be a good sport about what I have to say this week.
All right, let's get into it. It's night 15. Chrissy has been voted out.
No.
And Shaheen seems to think that the whole tribal council spiel was all directed at him because clearly Shaheen has the biggest muscles on the beach.
Yeah. Do you guys think that our bits is kind of like the thing that sends people home?
It is interesting that whenever we really
out of here, Chrissy is speaking out of here. We got no bits.
And then we did the David bit last week.
And he got sent home.
This is tough, guys.
Dang, I think
no bits today. We're promising no bits. We don't want to have this type of power.
Oh, man, I'm going to start doing Joe bits right now.
Hey, man, you leave Joe bits out of this.
Shaheen thinks it's all about him because, Shaheen is so ripped. And then the first thing that I really want to highlight is David talking to Camilla because he says, I'm going to be honest with you. I floated your name. I felt like Chrissy was going to play her shot in the dark. And then Camilla says, you're a terrible liar. Don't worry. And then Camilla comes in guns blazing with an amazing confessional. David is dead to me. He parades himself around camp talking like he's playing an honest and truthful game when he was the one person who lied straight to my face. He tried to vote me out, and David wants to keep all the strong people in the game so he can have amazing Survivor challenges. This dude is a complete idiot. He thinks he's out here for the Olympic qualifiers. Him, Eva, and Joe, he's completely forgot we're on Survivor. So what do you think about Kamilla's insistence that this is not the Olympics?
Bran?
Yeah. I don't think she likes him. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think she likes him.
This is what I'll say. I'm already 99% sure Kamilla's the winner of this season.
Wow.
And the fact that every episode Survivor gives her like 2 minutes to rant just goes to show that I think she is the winner for sure.
Yeah. But, something that's interesting is she kind of like doesn't seem capable of like fully filtering her thoughts.
Yeah.
And we get some of that in Tribal this week, but like she's going to tell you what she thinks if given the opportunity, and that may be ultimately the thing that
she is playing an honest and integrity-filled game.
Right. But I think y'all are confusing what she's saying to the camera with like how she's acting around camp. She's very blunt in all the confessionals.
But I mean, she's blunt to David's face right there because David goes,
right.
She goes, "You're a terrible liar."
Okay, I'm ignoring the part where she said like, "Hey, save it. You suck at lying."
His face when she said that, he looked so sad.
He was like, "This was not very honorable and integrity-filled of you."
He didn't even really respond, which is weird.
That's
because
the word I'm looking for.
Integrity filled.
Integrity. David, he's coming off of yelling at Chrissy at Tribal. You would think that there would be some kind of altercation with him and Kamilla at that moment where she's like, "Hey, you're a liar," but I guess not.
No.
So Eva in a confessional says that it's a better vibe around camp without toxic Chrissy around,
which is very funny because I didn't know Chrissy was like talking much around camp.
Well, it's just she wanted the strong people out, and Eva's one of the strong people, so that is the toxicity for Eva.
Yeah.
But,
can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's weird that Eva is considered one of the top 2 strongest because they kept saying the 2 strongest, Joe and Eva. At the end of the day, I think I could beat up Eva in a fight. You know what I mean? Like, I get that she's strong, but I'm pretty sure I could beat up Eva in a fight. You know?
No.
All right, Eva, come on in.
Let's do one of those influencer boxing matches, me versus Eva.
Yeah.
You guys want to fight anyone?
No, I'm good, bro.
Not Eva. I don't want to fight the outspoken autistic champion, for
it's not a good look.
Wholesome person on the season.
Why not?
She has giant thighs.
She's got hockey.
Now you're talking about her body. Wow.
She talks about it.
Cut
She's
that.
You're the one who said you're going to fight the autistic girl.
You can keep that. Because she's a worthy opponent and a worthy challenger.
All right, let's do this. How about we go down the line and we say we play a game called Can You Beat Him?
Yeah.
Kyle.
I could definitely beat Kyle. He's stronger than me. But I think I can take a hit better than Kyle.
Maybe we should stop doing this game. I think it's the CTE talking for Chase, where he's like, I could take on any of these guys, David and Joe at the same time. Bring them on.
I don't think I can
think
beat
the
David
only
or
one
Joe.
that I have a chance of taking is Mitch, and even then, I think Mitch.
I disagree.
He's wiry. You know,
I think Mitch would beat me
because he's wiry.
Yeah, and he's a tough dude.
He's a tough dude for sure.
I think that I could beat up Mary. And some things in this episode make me want to possibly.
No, Petey, no!
Don't say it.
If you challenged Mary to a boxing match, I think she would pull out a gun.
And she write a song about it.
Yeah, it's called Shoot.
It would be an honor to get shot by Mary. So Chrissy's gone. Eva says as long as it's not her people going home, she doesn't care. And I'm the same way, which is why the Mary thing makes me angry. So we've got Kyle, Shaheen, David, Mary, and Eva sitting together. Eva says, who do we want next? And Eva says, Mitch is the most likely to win a challenge. And then David says, I know Mary really wants Kamilla out. And then Mary confirms that.
Yeah.
And Kyle says, everything y'all are saying is good. I just want to ride this thing out. So Kyle, he's definitely playing it a lot smoother than he was last week.
Anytime he brings up anything, David's like, what's your problem, dude?
Yeah, I want to ask you, Bran, at this point. So it's clear that Mary and David are locked in for the second straight week. How are you feeling about this?
I was thinking about this, actually. And it is like, I'm very disappointed in Mary. And I'll say it on the record. I'm very disappointed. And it is like when my children do something that I know they shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Give examples.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna call my children out.
Use your children for entertainment.
Yeah, but one day you guys will have kids, and they will deeply disappoint you. And that is what it's like watching Mary team up
with David.
Because it's like, I know you know better. I understand I understand why you're doing it. You know, I understand why you're doing it, but I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Me and PD got into an argument in the Patreon chat last night because he was so upset with Mary for going after Kamilla, but she's gonna win the game. You got to go for the person that's obviously going to win the season.
Chase, you have said that many people over the years are going to obviously win the game, and it didn't happen like 95% of those times.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just picking the obvious frontrunner here, but I still think Joe has it.
I will say this episode did sway
Joe
me.
is playing the game in such a way where he's the strong guy, but he's also chill AF.
Yeah.
And it's like on everybody's good side. No one can ever get mad at Joe. And I think that that's really tough. Like David is an easy mark. He's strong and he sucks to be around. Joe's great. Like I want to hang out with Joe.
Yeah.
Right.
100%,
Mary wants to hang out with David.
Yeah, that's so weird. You think Mary just liked David?
I think she just likes problematic men.
Hey man, you can't speak about their personal lives like that.
We talked about it on the Sanctuary for an extended amount of time.
I honestly think Mary knew what she was doing. I knew she needed to be a part of
something.
The five.
Yeah.
Like that's her path. And it doesn't take a lot of analyzing to know that, hey, I could probably convince David to maybe bring me in. I'm not, and that's all I'll say about that.
That's very funny.
But I think she knew. I think she knew that she could get on David's good side, and he would.
So you think that she's playing David?
I think
she's playing David like a fiddle.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying it was the Giga Chad strategy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what Kamilla had, and I think she had eyes on David to be the Giga Chad, but then she chose Kyle to be her Giga Chad.
You got to be careful when you pick your Giga Chad.
Yeah, it's rough, but like me and Mary, we just have a complicated relationship right now. Like, obviously, still a huge fan of Mary.
This is a part of the season. If you guys listened to last season, you know that these episodes would get heated. And we've gotten a little bit better about it because we just use Jonathan as a scapegoat. Yeah. But Jonathan's not here. So me and PD are ready to fight over Mary versus Kamilla.
Yeah. Look,
so you don't have any problems with Mary teaming up with David?
No, I don't like it.
Okay.
No, I don't like it either.
We're all in agreement.
You're just not willing to
But
say
Mary's
anything.
my only chance to win this season. So I'm defending her with my whole chest.
But as somebody who has David on his team, I'll say this to you. Sometimes you have to throw your team out the window.
I don't have that many people left.
Yeah. I don't either, brother.
All right, so yeah, Kyle says, I've been right in the middle in this game, and I think that's starting to fall apart. So now I got to play. So Kyle goes to Shaheen.
That's what we were saying last week. We were like, they got to make a move now.
Yeah.
Kyle goes to Shaheen, and he explains that David and Mary don't trust them. Kyle says, Mary's trying to take our spot. She thinks she can undercut us. And then Shaheen says, that's why Kamilla needs to stay, bro. Mary and David are in trouble because they pushed too hard too soon. And Shaheen thinks they're pushing Kamilla because they're scared of Shaheen's relationship with Kamilla.
Dude, they are playing everyone like a fiddle, dude. Kamilla and Kyle are so good at this game.
It's amazing. It really is amazing.
When I say Camilla's the obvious winner, it's because everything she does is amazing. One of the best Survivor players I've ever seen, ever.
But let me ask you this. In this hypothetical situation, Kamilla and Kyle both go to tribal.
Yeah.
You're still giving it to Kamilla.
Kyle gets flustered under pressure. We've seen it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but without Kyle, there is no Kamilla.
That's very true.
Like,
and I think
about what Kyle has done to just keep Kamilla in the game over the past 2 weeks.
That is a very strong argument.
But then she could be like, I had such a hold on this guy that he couldn't let me go.
Right. The question is Kyle going to be able to make that argument under pressure?
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So Kyle and Shaheen are going to war with David and Mary. Meanwhile, David and Mary are imploring Eva that Kyle and Shaheen need to go home. And Eva's like, why are people so paranoid? Why can't all my friends just get along? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I felt really bad for Eva at that moment. Because they're not your friends, Eva. It's a game. It's a competition. They hate each other.
Yeah, and she alludes to it later on, but like she just sees things in such black and white that she can't understand what's like. Why is this happening?
Yeah, she's like,
which is
Mitch
fair.
and Star are still here.
Yeah.
We can all just be friends and get them out of here, and then figure it out.
Which is very logical.
Yeah. I'm so glad Star's still here.
Dude.
We'll get to Star later. The episode it took a while to get to Star, but we will. The next scene is wild. So Kyle, he's with Eva and David, and Kyle's trying to apologize. He says, "Look, I was just trying to make sure we were considering all the options. Yesterday it was such a rough day." And then David cuts him off, and he's like, "It shouldn't have been a rough day. There was a lot of scrambling. There didn't need to be a lot of scrambling." And then Kyle says, "Hey, man, I wasn't trying to cause any tension." And Chase, do you think that this conversation healed the relationship?
No, it was that thing where two people are very obviously still upset at each other, but they're acting like it's over and done with. So they're like, "It's over, it's done." They're both being like, "Yeah, it's over, it's done," but they just keep egging it on. Oh man, it's so funny.
So after this, we get to night 16. Everybody's asleep, and Eva is stirring. What's going on, Bran?
Eva is indeed stirring. If you remember last week during the reward, she pulled a Rachel and found something in her food. She pulls it out. And it basically...
I like that's a Rachel. When we say someone did a Rachel, you know what it means.
Yeah. And so she reads it, and it says, the evening after the next tribal, go down the beach and you'll have something waiting for you. And so she begins to sneak off, and in what I can only describe as the scene from The Conjuring, she's walking in a dark, shadowy figure.
It was so
just
cool.
pops out behind her. It's Shaheen, and Shaheen does something that I don't understand, but instead of following her and trying to get to the bottom of what's happening, he, as you heard in the intro of this episode, goes up to Joe, who's in full slumber, and does something that I can't imagine I would ever do to somebody, which is, while sleeping, touches his face to wake him up. A crazy thing to do, but that's what he does. And basically just gives him the heads up, hey, Eva is sneaking away. Just stay up and wait for her, I guess. I don't know. And Joe's like, I trust her. It's not a big deal. Shaheen then goes back to his hammock and does one of these numbers. Shh. That's what he does. I don't understand. Anyway, Eva gets to the area where there's fire, and it goes from night vision as she walks past one of the flames that turns to color.
So cool. Yeah, it's
really well done. Really well done. And she walks up to this table, and it just explains to her that she has received an extra vote. But she can risk that extra vote by picking between one of two little wood scroll things. I don't know. It's like I don't know what it is, but one of them you will get a safety without power. Mm-hmm. The other one you will leave with nothing.
50-50 chance.
And she decides that she's going to give it a shot. She's going to, because I guess she plays the odds here, and she's like, an extra vote is kind of helpful, but I already have an immunity idol. I kind of got these things in my sleeves. Why not try it for the 50-50 odds? She gets it. She gets the safety without power. She is then able to decide between a 33.3% chance she can wager it all and potentially get another full-blown immunity idol, which is good until the final 5.
Yeah.
If she gets it, she gets it. If not, she loses that safety without power, is what it says. So I don't know if that also means that she would still keep the extra vote. If that extra vote
because she risked the extra vote for the
that's right.
safety without power.
So she decides ultimately not to risk it, and she's going to leave with the safety without power and use that at some point. I believe the restrictions on that one is still good until final 7. I believe is that
which
one.
is coming up.
It's coming up. So she has to use it, I think, within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
which is great.
But more power for Eva. More power for her. She still has her immunity idol. She still has Joe.
Yeah. Which is a big advantage.
And she now has this safety without power, which is huge. When that's a big get for her.
Very, because now she has the opportunity where is next week the final 8 or the final
8. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's essentially another immunity idol for
Yeah,
her in a
yeah,
sense.
that's what
So,
I
like,
was
the
thinking.
only thing that is different is she doesn't get to vote in it.
right, which
So she
is,
doesn't really get a say in who goes home, but at least she doesn't have to.
so let's break this down a little bit, and this is jumping ahead to next week, kind of. But next week in the preview, someone goes, "It's 4v4."
And we'll see if that's actually true. 'Cause we don't know.
But if it is 4v4, Eva cannot use her safety without power because she needs to be there for her alliance
Right.
to
she'd
vote.
have to use the big boy idol.
Yes.
Yeah, so
She has a lot to figure out in the next 3 weeks because she also has to eventually she'll have to flush the idol before what is it 4?
I think it's 5
Yeah.
or 4. Yeah,
It's sometime soon. So she has to use the idol, the safety without power,
and get rid of Joe.
yeah.
But with her
She
challenge
wants to win.
strength, like I think Eva is such a threat in the challenges that if she could just use her 2 advantages back to back, then she could win out. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Oh no, 100%.
When
100%.
but did she also walk away with the extra vote or did
No.
she
No.
exchange it? Okay.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
understanding was you can potentially get that and
No,
I would have loved that.
That would've been sick.
I was having a great time watching this, but if she came away with 2 advantages instead of 1, that would have been
people
even
been like
better.
rigged.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
got that thing in front of her food last week rigged.
And I think the nice thing about this is there was no lose a vote. Like like this was
Yes.
this was all good for
Yeah,
her.
you know
which
that
is-
Jeff looked like that meme of the kid who like he really wants to say something. He wants to say it really bad, and what he wants to say is, "I want to take your vote. I really wish I could somehow take your vote during
I want
this."
to take your vote. I want to take it. So yeah, this was I like these ones where you kind of go in the dead of night. It's risky, but there's a reward waiting for you that could be really great, or you could play it safe. It just depends on the type of gameplay that you would want to do. If you were in her exact situation, situation, would you have gone for the 33.3% chance and get another immunity idol?
No, I think she made the right choice.
I
think so,
agree.
too.
I
think
agree.
so.
If she pushed it a little bit farther, that's when you're going to go home with nothing. Well, she can't go home with nothing because she has the 1 idol already.
Another thing, she could also, now that she has all another immunity, she could gift the real immunity idol. Like there's ways in which she could
Give it
play
to Star. Be like, hey, I got an extra one.
Give it
You
to
can-
Star.
She's gonna use our Joe if anyone.
right.
But
Well, she owes Star though, and I think we can all agree. So
when it comes
really,
to the going for the 3 though,
yeah,
I think it would have been detrimental to her game if she would have gone for the 33%, the 3, because if she would have lost and gone back to camp with nothing, Shaheen, who saw her leave, if she came back and was like, yeah, nothing happened, he would not have trusted that.
That's right.
No.
Yeah. So it really worked out well for her, and then she was able to. And the next morning is immediately after this, right?
Yeah.
And so she has a decision to make,
Yes.
which is who am I going to tell? And I think she made the right decision with who to tell as well. But I'll let PD take
Yeah,
over.
but before we get there, I do want to make one note about going from the darkness to the torch light. It was like my reaction was the video where Logan Paul pretended to be colorblind. Do y'all remember that? It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can see for the first time.
He's crying.
Yeah.
I do not remember this.
It was a big controversy in 2017 YouTube.
Was that before or after he found a dead body
This
in
is
the
the
woods?
earliest
Okay.
of
This
Logan
was the first
Paul.
time everybody was like, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
The first of many.
That's tough.
So Jeff, he actually Jeff gives us the first ever apply fake out.
Ooh.
Right here. He's like, you know what? I know what you're thinking. You want to apply for Survivor, but you're never going to. Now you don't have to. Get the game.
Which goes against everything he's ever said
Right.
during these little promos, which is like, if you're thinking about it, why not just do it?
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think, because we didn't get an actual apply for Survivor.
We did.
We did?
It was this. It was mind games. Jeff was saying, you're not going to do it.
Oh,
Buy the
okay.
game. But that's not, I don't think that's how it's supposed to come off. But I'm like, I see what you're doing, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I took it as
We're
a
on
commercial
to you.
for the game, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they're not wanting people to really apply right now, because 49 is filming, and they've already got 50, which is an all-star season.
That's a good point.
So
I bet they want to go through it still for 51, 52.
Probably,
Jeff's
yeah.
probably, he's always on the casting grind.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead and just don't apply.
Yeah, no, guys,
Come do it.
Yeah, because then it opens it up for Bran to get on the show.
That's right.
I would love for
Season
Bran to go
51.
on this show. One of us needs to apply. And Jonathan's made it very clear he's afraid of the ocean.
Yeah.
So
Jonathan,
As the person here who can't swim, which is why Star speaks to me, and we'll talk about that in a little
can you
bit.
actually not swim?
I can't swim, and so that's the biggest hurdle for me when it comes to surviving.
That makes sense.
I think, but I would learn. I've learned a little bit over the
I
past
believe
couple
you.
summers, but it's the doubt in the back of the head. But Star's inspirational.
Yeah, she
Star's
is.
my inspiration.
Everyone's inspiration.
Star's the
really.
meaning in my life. She's my inspiration. I'm gonna learn how to swim. Star's my inspiration.
Yeah, dude, that was
Amen.
awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So last week I was worried about the preview where Eva gets found out by Shaheen because I assumed that was just going to be like a big problem for me. But nope, doesn't matter at all because she tells everybody. Well, she tells 4 people. She tells Joe, Kyle, and Shaheen. So it was 3 people she told. But Shaheen says he knows she's dangerous to win, but he's not targeting her yet. And Joe says he's not freaking out about Eva. He wasn't going to ask her. He wasn't going to approach her. And then boom. She just tells him first thing in the morning. He was like, I knew it, never a doubt. So Mary comes up to the group, and everyone's like, yep, it's still Kamilla. And that includes Kyle. So, man, Kyle, he's playing it smooth,
Yeah,
a lot
Kyle
smoother.
said it.
He did play it a lot smoother. He was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm cool with it. Yeah.
He's like, here comes David. It's still Kamilla. We're doing Kamilla, right? Right, David? Right?
But here's the thing. Kyle can't lose Kamilla.
No.
So Kyle goes and shares with her that Eva has the extra advantage. And he tried to talk to Joe, but David, he walks right up and he blocks it from happening. And then we see David talking to Joe and Eva. And he says, look, y'all can't trust Kyle and Shaheen. And then David makes the biggest mistake of his Survivor game. David tries to get Joe to admit that he went back on his word.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Man, he just
Dude.
dug his own grave here.
That was the moment. It felt cold. Like I'm watching at home on TV and I felt like I was there when it happened.
Yeah.
The way that he looked at David after David said that, I was like, David's going home tonight.
With his like hand on his chin.
I was like, David is going home tonight.
And then David be like, but we said it was gonna be Chrissy, and then
Dude, exactly. This scene goes to show you exactly both of their game styles perfectly in one moment.
You're going to see this clip on the people dying inside subreddit. Like, you can see David just being like, oh no.
Dude, David is playing a game where he like a very quote unquote Boston Rob style game. And that even gets brought up in this episode. Joe's the one actually playing the game that David thinks he is. David's going around trying to interrupt conversations, strong arm his way into everyone doing what he wants them to do.
yeah.
And then Joe's just sitting back, letting everybody come to him. And he's still calling the shots. Someone on the Survivor subreddit said it felt like watching The Godfather. He was just sitting back in a hammock, and everybody kept coming to him like, "Hey, is this okay for tribal tonight?"
So 33 minutes. It took 33 minutes, guys. 33 minutes into this episode of Survivor, we're going to talk about Mitch and Star for the first time.
Let's go.
So Star is doing something, and Mitch wants to help. Star doesn't know how to swim, but she told herself that she's going to get some practice because she's living on a beach in Fiji for 15 days. Might as well give it a shot, you know? And Coach Mitch is on the case.
Yeah.
He's helping Star out. He's acting out swimming on the sand for Star. It was a really nice moment after 30 minutes of people hating each other.
Yeah.
My thought, though, is, Mitch, why don't you, like,
Get in the water,
water.
and show her. Yeah.
like, he's teaching her how
tired.
to swim. He's doing the motions with his hands on the sand.
What if
And
it
it's
was like, what if
just
it was
go
like,
down a couple steps, brother.
what if she was like, "Hey, can you come into the water and help me?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know how to swim."
Have you guys ever tried to swim when you're hungry? I guess Bran hasn't. Chase, have you ever tried to swim when you're hungry? It's the worst. Mitch,
You know,
Well, isn't it notoriously like you're not supposed to swim on like after you just ate though?
But you're not supposed to do that. But you got.
That's a lie. We got a swimming expert just hit the studio.
Dan,
everybody,
get over
Dan,
here.
come over here, I guess, and give your thoughts on. Yeah, go.
So Bran, has no swimming experience, so he can't speak to this.
Yeah,
but-
no, he can't swim.
Yeah, so-
I own a pool. He comes over, he watches his 4-year-old go to the deep end, just dive straight down. He's like, can't help you. There's nothing I can do.
Okay, for the listeners of Making the Merge who are not already subscribed to Deck the Hallmark, Dan is on Deck the Hallmark.
Now's
He
the
just
time.
appeared in the studio.
This is Boss Man Dan.
That's right. That's me.
Dan, what is the ideal time to swim after
You can
you're
swim whenever you want.
Okay.
You can literally take a bite of a cheeseburger, jump right in the pool. It does not matter. When I was a kid, my parents made me wait an hour and a half. And I still have a grudge.
Wait, so would you recommend swimming in the ocean after not having eaten anything for
I think
15
being
days?
at the ocean dehydrates you, and I think it would be really bad to swim on an empty stomach from that standpoint. But there's nothing inherently wrong. Like, you're not going to hurt yourself by swimming on an empty stomach or after you've eaten. Complete wives' tale stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. The more you know, guys.
Guys,
we're learning
give it up
stuff.
for Dan for coming in.
Yeah,
Answering that question.
Congrats to Richard Hatch too. What a season! I thought Gervais really had a shot. Sue, the
Are we
rat,
talking
the
to
whole
college,
thing,
Dan?
It was unbelievable.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
You'll be happy to hear this. Gervais rumored to be coming back for season 50.
No way.
That's true.
Does that mean we have Dan on the podcast for season 50?
Dan's coming back.
Big Gervais fan, Dan.
Anytime he's our Gervais expert.
That was
It's time to
awesome.
bring on our Gervais correspondent.
Maybe if they have Richard back too, then we'll have a regular Dan keeping up with Gervais and Richard.
We'll have to add him on as the 6th. How many hosts do we
Wait,
have?
do we call him? Is it Jervis?
Jervis or Gervais?
Ricky Gervais is Gervais.
Oh,
I think he's
it's
Jervis.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Dang, so dumb.
It's kind of spelled like that.
Yeah.
So-
How can he be our Gervais correspondent? He can't get his name right.
Maybe he's right. I got to Google it later. Next up, we get a really cool scene with Kyle and Joe. Kyle's in a confessional. He's talking about how tense everything was, and he wants to share with Joe some things about his personal life that make it difficult for him to be in these tense situations. Kyle reveals to Joe that the events of the previous day had triggered him a little bit because he had a couple of misdemeanors when he was a kid. And he said, you might think you're in law school and you get sentenced to 30 days in jail, that your life is over. But it wasn't the case for Kyle because he convinced the judge to let him take one of his exams in person. He actually left the jail to go take it. He submitted an essay on a jail computer while his cellmates watched Game of Thrones, and he had his girlfriend bring books to the jail so that he could study. So how could you not love Kyle after this? Kyle could be our winner, Chase.
Yeah, no, I mean, I disagree with him being the winner, but I mean, it was a cool moment. It was a really good scene. I don't think a lot of people understood the scene though, because it kind of came out of nowhere.
Didn't. I was literally just about to say, I don't fully understand the connection between jail time and David being annoying. I don't know.
Well, he was just saying things got tense, and it was that kind of energy that brought some negative emotions from his past out of him, I think was what was going on.
Thanks, PD.
You're welcome. That was literally what he said.
Psychiatrist.
Well, it can help that David pulled out a shiv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did he go to prison with a bunch of Davids?
Everybody was just chugging chocolate milk and watching Game of Thrones.
I think maybe more just the experience of, being a law student and having to go to jail and thinking that everything is over for you. Maybe not. Didn't put him in the best headspace.
Yeah.
Anybody in here been to jail before?
Just you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I love that PD didn't know if I had or not. He spoke for me. Believe it or not, I have not gone to jail.
Had a feeling.
Yeah.
I mean,
do I put out that never been to
But you
jail
haven't?
aura
No,
about
I've never
me?
been to jail.
I thought. Oh wait, no. You just got.
I got arrested in a Waffle House.
Yes, arrested
but I did
in a
not
Waffle
go
House.
to jail.
I thought you went to jail. Sorry.
No, it's okay, man. You're just profiling me.
Fine, I'll bite. What happened at the Waffle House?
Yeah, I got arrested at Waffle House. Basically, this is what happened. This is the rundown. Was driving to Waffle House. I had a Jeep, no doors, no windows. A dog, as I was driving through a neighborhood, ran out in front of my Jeep. I stopped. I got out trying to get the dog to get out the road.
Good Samaritan.
Get back in the Jeep, drive to Waffle House. We're in there. We're eating. Cops walk in. Hey, who drives the blue Jeep? everyone in the Waffle House that worked there ducked behind the counter. I said me, and they took me outside, put me in handcuffs, started walking me to the patrol car, and I was like, "What's going on?" And they were like, "Suspected dog napping." A lady called.
Suspected dog napping.
A lady called and said that you pulled over and tried to steal her dog. And
well, the key word there is tried to.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't succeed.
Yeah. And so I explained the situation, and then he just let me out of the handcuffs and let me go back into Waffle House. Funniest part of the story is when I got back in the Waffle House, our waitress goes, "Thank God, I thought he was here for me."
Fantastic. Great story.
Yeah.
Great story.
That was amazing. That would be a great story for Survivor. So Joe is sick of David at this point, aren't we all? You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get okay. So I guess David, Chase, and Mary aren't all like in a group of people I hate. It's just Chase and Mary. I mean, it's just David and Mary. Sorry, I didn't mean to group Chase and Mary again. Yeah.
Jesus.
So Joe is sick of David at this point. He wants him or Mary out, but he wants to see where Eva's head is at. So he goes to talk to her one-on-one, and Eva's response is, those two are getting paranoid, but I don't want their paranoia to break the group apart. So Eva, she just wants to keep the band together. She's like, I don't understand why we can't just be the happy muscle alliance. Eva's like, I'm trying to play peacemaker. And she can't seem to grasp why all of these people can't just put aside their feelings and make it to where all the strong people go to the end.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fair. And like, this is the problem with David is he's right.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So that's the tricky part. All of this paranoia about Kyle and Camilla is accurate. And so that's why it's hard to get over, because Kyle is never going to give up on Camilla, and David's never going to give up on trying to get Camilla. And so it's a tough spot to be. It's a tough spot to be in.
But also, it's the kind of thing, because I see a lot of people now online, they've switched. They hated David and the Integrity Lions last week, and now they've switched up this week, and now they're like, "Oh, David was completely right. Everybody's an idiot because David was telling them the truth and they didn't believe him." The Survivor fans are a fickle bunch.
Yeah. But it's the way that David goes about it.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too, is it doesn't matter that David is right, that Kyle and Camilla are trying to take over the game, because by getting them out, he's trying to take over the game.
Right.
So either way, if you're not David or Kyle and Camilla.
Yes. David goes home this week because of the way he goes about almost all of his conversations.
Yes.
This, it's very accusatory. Even the conversation with Joe where he tells him that he flipped, all of that can be just totally avoided if he just says, "Hey, we the way that we decided as a group to change." The we instead of the you here is important, and it's why ultimately he ends up going home, because he just didn't handle it well.
No, he did not.
He didn't handle it well.
Right now, we need to step right up. Because it's everybody's favorite part of the challenge. That's how you do it when it's everybody's favorite part of the challenge.
Everybody's favorite part of the episode. Took us a long time to get to the challenge.
Oh, boy, did it.
You guys felt like it took a really long time, right?
It took 46 minutes to be exact.
But I wasn't upset about it because it was a short challenge and we got that cool Eva journey thing.
Yeah, I was a little upset. I was just like, this is a lot of fucking writing for me.
God, when is it Chase's turn? But and even when we get to the challenge, it doesn't take very long. There's not a lot to say. Basically, the challenge is called Crocodile Rock. That is what CBS.
Are you serious? How did you find out?
It's what it's titled on the YouTube video.
Okay.
Well, there you go. That's fun.
Speaking of which, they uploaded a bunch of stuff last night from the episode.
Thank you, CBS.
That's kind of them.
Yeah.
For no reason.
For no reason.
Yeah, there's no reason why we want that to happen.
But it's called Crocodile Rock. Basically, for the challenge, they had to stand on a platform and lift up on a handle. And they have to keep the pressure as tight as they can, because if they let off even a little, the ball that is trapped between the jaws that they're keeping tight the ball will roll off. And if the ball falls or you step off of the platform, you are out. Last person standing wins immunity and gets to take a few people with them to reward, which is ham, cheese, soda, peach cobbler, and chocolate-covered strawberries. I will say, I really do like these types of challenges, the kind of like simple but difficult challenges.
I love like sometimes the challenges look like they spent so much time on the art and whatnot, and this one just looked like someone just like threw a bunch of scrap metal together and was like, look what I have.
My wife goes, why is it rusty already? Didn't they just make it?
Somebody forgot it was their day to present. And he's like, oh, I got this metal. That's it. That's all I got. It's been left out in the rain for months.
I think that the big obstacle courses are fun too, but I do like the simple ones every once in a while. Star pulls a Cedric, drops immediately. But it's not really that embarrassing because pretty quickly after Star drops, everyone else drops as well.
Yeah, I think Camilla was next. That made me sad.
Yeah, and so basically everyone drops very, very quickly except for Joe and David. And once again, it's the two strongest guys competing for immunity. We see Joe. I mean, dude, he goes through a religious experience during this challenge. He slips. He catches it. He holds it together. He slips again. The ball is right on the edge. Joe is struggling. He's sweating. He's looking up at the ball. Oh, God, please don't drop. And meanwhile, David hasn't moved an inch.
Yeah.
Like the ball was in the exact same spot it's been.
This is the hold your body weight challenge all over again. He just looked like he could do it forever.
Yeah.
Is Shaheen still in at this point?
Nope. This is just Joe and David.
Because I want to talk about what Shaheen did. You won't be able to tell listeners what I'm doing, but
this is really good though.
Put his fingers like this, and I don't know what he was doing.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah, he tried this really weird strategy of holding it, where he was like doing a yoga pose, and it did not work.
Interesting. Do you think maybe his wow, that's so weird. What's his rationale for that?
I don't know. I was also this seems like one of those challenges that's like hard to fully understand, even though it's so simple. It's hard, like, because Joe was doing this thing when the ball was getting close, and he just kind of like kept shifting as if he was trying to get the ball to move back up, which doesn't make any sense to me because of like this fickle thing called gravity.
Yeah.
And so like I don't like he just got like shifting his arms and
it was
like
weird. Yeah.
As if he was trying to get the ball to do something, but I don't know what that something was. So
it was that religious experience, man. And David hasn't moved an inch. This goes on for several minutes like this until finally, out of nowhere, David slips off the platform. Joe wins the challenge.
And I was watching this with my dad. We started clapping. It was like spontaneously just,
so did Shaheen.
Yeah.
Shaheen stood and cheered. It's like, hey, bro, like, hold a little closer to the vest.
Everyone was rooting against David in the game and outside the game. Everyone in the Patreon chat was going crazy because it looked like David. And I even, like, at the beginning of the episode, I was like, they're making it seem so obvious that David's the big target. He's going to win immunity tonight, and everyone's going to have to scramble. And they teased it because it looked like he was going to win. Yeah. And then last second, he just steps off the platform, which I did some research looking back at the YouTube video because I was like, why? Because Kyle also fell off the platform instead of dropping the ball. It's because the platform was a little farther back. So you're at an angle. You're leaning forward.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't notice.
I was literally just thinking to myself, I need to go back and watch why he fell.
Yeah, it is. They're kind of at a little slope, so gravity is pushing them down as well.
Huh. That's interesting.
And I would like to look at Shaheen's weird little move again. So I do think I will rewatch this challenge.
We should do a video for social media of us like diagramming it like it's a football. What you see here,
and it's at a slight angle,
only
33 degrees.
Bran, I think you just struck gold. You've seen the John Gruden videos, yes?
Yeah,
Could you do that, but with Survivor challenges?
I'll see what I can do.
And just rock back and forth and be like, David. But yeah, please, let's get that going. But there's one more thing at the beginning of the challenge I would like to bring up. Jeff did his little British accent again.
Yeah,
he broke it out. I forgot what he said. He's like, "Welcome everybody to the challenge." Something like that.
He's having fun. He's having a good time.
Well, you just had a good night at Club Condo.
Oh, he had 2 consecutive.
Was it last season that he brought the popcorn to Tribal?
Yeah.
He's having a blast lately, and I love that for him.
Me too, because I don't want him to retire.
I don't either.
I want him to stay until his brain goes. Actually, maybe stay a little bit after his brain goes.
That would be entertaining.
That's going to be a good time. If
Dude,
he's
that
like Lee
guy's
Corso.
not gonna. He's never gonna retire. He's gonna die at Tribal.
That'd be pretty wild.
I think he might die after he retires because at some point he'll probably be forced to. I don't know if it'll be his choice. And why don't we actually? I mean, I think we've done this before where we start theorizing about like how sad it's going to be when Jeff goes.
I don't think they dare try. I think they would be like, we're done, and then in like 5 years, it's like the reboot of Survivor
with Jeff again.
No, with somebody else. But I don't think anyone can immediately step in and replace.
It's not going away.
Can I make a prediction? I think we've brought this up before. I think it's going to be like what they did with Jeopardy when Alex Trebek died, where they just bring in guest hosts maybe every week for a season.
I don't think Jeff would sign off on that, but it won't be his choice anymore.
Maybe they pull.
He's still the showrunner.
Yeah.
Even if he's not host, he might still be the showrunner. But if he steps down from both, then it has nothing to do with what.
Maybe they do a Price is Right and bring in Drew Carey.
I'd watch it. I like Drew Carey.
Survivor makes way too much money to go anywhere, and that's not just wishful thinking because we're doing a Survivor podcast. I genuinely think that Survivor will outlive all of us.
Oh, I'm sure. I think it's the only. We got to move on to it because I will sit here and talk about it all day.
So we'll save it for the sanctuary.
As the host of a podcast that also makes too much money to stop, like we get it. It's tough. It's tough to stop when you're rolling in the money like
you
that.
can't. And then you
talking about this
your program. Making the merge is never going away.
I was like, whoa, Brandon's really confident about Deck the Hallmark right now. And then I was like, oh wait, he's talking about us.
Yeah, man.
I was about to say, Bran, we already know how much Deck the Hallmark makes. You don't have to brag about it.
Yeah, no, man. I'm quitting all my other shows for this
just
one.
for making the merge. Hey, man, be honest. And I know your other co-host is in the studio today, but is this your favorite podcast to do during the week?
It's in my top 3.
How many do you do a week?
More than 3.
Well, I'll take it.
Is it number 3? Top 3, number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did text Chase yesterday after the episode, and I was like, I think that Bran, he will renew our contract at Bramble Jam simply because he's going to lose the draft and he wants to redeem himself.
Yeah.
It's looking good, guys. It's looking real good.
All right.
Can I really quickly talk about Shaheen?
Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
He continues to do things that I don't understand, like head scratching things. Like I went into this thinking that this guy is going to be this challenge beast. He's going to be so smart. He's never going to make a mistake. And every week it feels like there's one thing that Shaheen does, and I'm just like, why did he do it like that?
Do you think that it's him or do you think it's the edit? Because we see in this episode, they show us a flashback.
Yeah.
That shows all of his great moves that he's been doing.
It's a great point. Yeah.
I think it is the editing. And we talked a little bit on the Sanctuary about that. They give him the goofy music. They give him not the best moments.
He's getting goofball edit. And I would have never assumed that about him.
Me either.
Yeah. So it's very confusing.
I agree with you, dude. I thought he was the winner.
Like him sitting back down on his hammock and going, shh. I was like,
it was him like just gently caressing Joe's head and be like, Joe.
Yeah.
Eva went
in the
woods.
It was last week, like when they were like, why'd you pick, was it Camilla? He was like, it just like seemed like you totally fumbled it. Like it's just very interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
So speaking of goofballs, David is so distraught coming back from the challenge that he lost. And that was another moment that we didn't talk about after the challenge that Jeff asked him, because you could see it on his face. And he's like, David's like, I should have won that. It should have been me. But it's not like he said, congrats, Joe, or anything like that. He was just like,
it should have been me.
I should have done it. And then he gets back to the beach. He's so distraught. He's leaning over the shed. He's looking depressed. He's getting consoled by Mary.
Right.
Dude. And then Kyle says, it looked like, no, I'm not going to say it. And then he says it anyway. He said it looked like they were very close friends in that moment.
Dude, Kyle? What a wild confessional. That was awesome.
Hilarious.
This is kind of what I'm getting at. I just think Mary is such a smart player. She saw David. She's heard David talk about his
girlfriend back home.
I think she's kind of playing.
She was trying to play him.
She's trying to play him.
Hey, this is what I think it is genuinely. Just that Mary likes problematic guys, and we know that because she likes being on Chase's draft team. So she's just Mary has a history with liking guys who have character issues.
PD has been coming for me all episode, and it's because he knows that Mary is going to get Camilla out. Mary has been coming for Camilla. Wants Camilla out of this game, and she's going to do it, and you're going to be gone. You're going to be eliminated. I'm going to be back-to-back champion. You're just frustrated because this is your opportunity to be the greatest member of our Survivor draft by winning 3 times. But I'm going to win back-to-back, which has only been done by you before. I'm going to make you feel less special. And I'm going to be the new legend of making the merge Survivor draft.
I will say this, in PD's defense, only one of us has been confronted by the police at a Waffle House.
Yeah.
So do with that what you will.
So look, guys, it's a tag team match. It's PD and Camilla versus Chase and Mary.
Yeah.
When's that pay-per-view? Would watch.
Me and Eva are also boxing in the main event.
And it's a Hell in a Cell match.
Night.
So, despite that, I like Mary a lot in real life, but in the game of Survivor right now, she's my enemy, and it is what it is.
What about, but specify that you also like me in real life.
Oh, yeah, I like you in real life.
Okay.
Yeah. Me and Chase are friends. I don't know if you guys knew that. We started a Survivor podcast together.
I just need to make sure you specify it,
So David and Mary.
For the listeners. Chase is fine.
I mean, I didn't need to hear you say it, but I needed them to,
yeah. Chase is 70% fine. David and Mary are worried that Shaheen has an idol because Shaheen is so calm, and therefore he must have an idol, and he's going to play it on Camilla, according to David and Mary. So, Bran, tell me about the person who walked up to David and Mary after this, and they were holding a coconut.
Guys, Star. It's a Star update. Star walks from around the corner with a coconut in her hand and just says, I don't know what you're talking about, but open your ears. And then she says, it's got to be Shaheen. Out of nowhere.
It was so funny,
it was
dude.
So, there's something about the shot, her timing, her just continuing to peel her coconut while she's talking. It's like, the whole thing was so great.
It was so funny, too.
And open your ears.
She walks up. Now she's like, guys, it's got to be them, right? And they both just go, no. And she goes, all right, and then walks off.
No, but that's not even the craziest part. You would think Star coming up with a coconut would be the craziest part. But the craziest part is that, Star says, I think it should be Shaheen. Mary and David are like, no way, Shaheen has an idol. Then in a confessional, Star goes, I know he's not. He doesn't have an idol. I know he doesn't have one. But I got to go with the majority. So instead of giving them information and potentially making a move and targeting Shaheen, which they could have done, Star was just like, man, whatever. They believe this. I'm going to let them believe
Best case scenario for the show is
Star wins.
Star, at the very least, Star goes to the finals. Is the third person and just gets to talk at Final Tribal.
Star, everybody's been talking online about how they're kind of killing her in the edit. They're not actually showing her much. It's like Kramer from Seinfeld is on Survivor. She's just kind of walking around enjoying herself, saying funny one-liners. It's
learning how to swim.
Yeah, Star walks around the corner just holding a coconut, doesn't say anything, gets a huge applause break.
She just did.
She did.
And she just says, open your ears. Star is here.
She's in on the bit. She starts going, Star update.
If she said Star update on the beach, I think I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
I'd be like, oh, she's Star updates for sure.
I think I would just run for 2 miles. I would just be like, Star said Star update.
That's a high that you can't, there's no money. There's no price that you can pay for that high.
God.
So Joe, Mitch, Eva, and Shaheen are on reward. And Mitch wants David 1,000%. Shaheen's excited to hear that because he's been planting the seeds, throwing David under the bus to everybody for weeks, apparently. They showed a montage of that. Shaheen says it feels like there's been a war. A war happened.
I will say that the edit that Shaheen gets there isn't like Operation Italy level, but it was what I think kind of what they're going for there.
Good eye.
Yeah, Shaheen says it feels like a war. And David, I've been here for a minute. Let's party.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So Eva's getting spooked by David and Mary's constant paranoia in this episode. She tells Kyle about what's going on, And Eva is very sad to hear that Kyle no longer wants to work with David. she said her heart sank because it turns out Eva was the only one who really meant the whole honesty and integrity thing. So look, going
Eva's
to tribal.
Eva's the best of us. That's
Eva
all you need
is.
to know.
Eva is by far the best, and it was a dilemma for her to go to tribal because of this. Like, it is funny that at the end of the day, she is the only actually good person. She's the only pure-hearted person.
I would say Joe. Joe seems to be pretty pure at heart.
But Joe is still willing to, in Survivor, be like, this is not working for me anymore, even though he would never go back on his word.
I honestly think it's the only reason why he even considered voting for David.
Is because David said that.
David Weather was like, you swapped. He's like, I would never.
And Joe was like, and I took that personally.
Yeah, I took it personally. I would never swap. I would never go back on my word. And then proceeds to go back on his word.
Hey, your word has limitations.
Mm-hmm. Like, I was going to say, it has limitations unless you're in Waffle House. And then your word can get you out of being arrested.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're like,
I didn't try to steal that dog, but I did get a new dog that day.
It's time to go to the Garlic Palace. It's tribal time. At first I was zoning out a little bit, but we got something interesting a few minutes into it. Jeff asked David, how does Mary's idea of striking before someone strikes you align with your approach of being straight up? And David said, call us crazy, but maybe me and Eva will be voted out. Maybe we'll win. But if we make it to the final 3 playing the game we're playing, maybe that's something we've never seen on Survivor before. And I was like, wait, why did you just mention Eva? What's going on here?
Yeah, because I think what he was trying to say is that him and Eva are the 2 players trying to play with integrity and honesty.
Okay, well, when he said that, everyone kind of looked around.
Well, first of all, he was wrong. We've seen that happen on Survivor tons of times.
Yeah, he is the person who famously never watched Survivor. Yeah. So everything he says, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I just wish he wouldn't act like he knew about Survivor.
Yeah.
It's okay if you haven't watched the show and you go on the show. I actually prefer it. But don't act like, hey, we've never seen that on Survivor before. Because we've seen it a lot. We've seen it a whole lot.
He just watched Rachel win, and he's like, look at this. What is this?
Puzzle nerd. She's wearing glasses.
Yeah. She lied to people. What is that about? So Jeff, he gets Camilla's thoughts about what David said. And Camilla, my queen, my hero, my potential draft winner, she said he needs to keep the jury in mind. He might be happy with how the game is going, but the people he puts over there, are they happy with that game?
Bro,
no.
Star.
Star's just dying in the background.
And Star finds this hilarious. She said, Camilla's basically like, you're playing your game, and that's cute, but I don't care what game you're playing. If it doesn't float with me, if you put me over there, you ain't getting my vote.
And, dude, this is the first time in a while, maybe ever, that we're seeing them deliberate about the jury before the final tribal, where they're like openly looking at David and going, we're not going to vote for you.
Yeah.
You need to change how you're playing this game if you want to make it.
Second week in a row, Camilla did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of crazy.
And if I'm on the jury, because when Star and Camilla said that, Cedric and Chrissy both just go,
yeah. She's already getting votes. She's already getting sympathy.
Yeah.
My queen, my hero.
That's why I don't understand why you're beefing with me. I keep saying your player's going to win the season.
I'm beefing with you because you still stand in the way. Look, this is a very Mike Tomlin thing. I'm taking all my cues from Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. We don't overlook the competition in front of us and project ourselves in the Super Bowl, okay?
Okay.
That's how. So you're my enemy.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, thank you.
You're my enemy. Eva is not. Mary's my enemy. And who do you have? Shaheen is my enemy. Everybody's my enemy.
Bran's not your enemy.
Bran's not my enemy. His players are. You, Chase, are my enemy.
Hey, can you clarify to the audience that we're not actually enemies? Can you do that?
We'll probably text after this. Look,
but I need you to say
it. All right, fine. Me and Chase are buddies. Is that what you wanted?
I mean, it's not what I wanted. It's what the audience wanted.
It's what the audience wanted. So Joe said,
what was that little dance you did? Pump your fist? You're really excited about this. For the listeners.
For the listeners. Yeah.
Chase wants my approval. For the listeners.
But before we move on from Star, there was one Star Updates tweet last night that made me laugh really hard. Okay. And it was the episode 9 confessional count.
Oh.
And she quotes it. She quote tweets it and goes, in one episode, Eva got almost as many confessionals as Star has gotten all season. should I kill myself?
No star updates. No, you should not do that to yourself. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say do that to yourself so we can use the clip for TikTok. But star updates. You are an essential worker. Like if this was the pandemic, we would be applauding for you.
It's nurses and star updates.
Yeah,
I want it on the record. I will not be banging my pots and pans for star updates.
Look, Bran might not like you still, but me and Chase,
I love star.
Yeah,
not star updates.
Still hate star updates.
So Joe said you have to try to stick with who you really are, and you have to trust. And while Joe says that, David knocks on the wood he's sitting on. David said maybe there is such a thing as fate. Maybe knocking on wood does something.
It doesn't.
Nope. Jeff asks, how does it feel? And David said, it feels like wood. Let's vote, everybody. We've got 1 vote Mitch, 1 vote David. 2 votes Mitch, 2 votes David. 3 votes Mitch, and at this point, I am very concerned about Mitch. I'm like, what? Did they just not show us that everything got flipped around again? But then the rest of the votes are on David. Bran, you have been set free.
Guys, this as somebody who lost his 3rd player this week, I got to tell you, there is no greater feeling in the world than no longer having to try to figure out how do I cheer for this person that I don't like. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I am down to 1 player. I'm down to Shaheen, and it was the player that I picked first. And I'm not surprised that it comes down to him. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long you kept the most players. It matters, are you the one with the final player? I still think I have a chance with Shaheen. I still feel good about it. We all knew David wasn't going to win. No. And so I feel fine about this, all things considered.
I think that you have a chance, even with your 1, to still make the playoffs. Something that Chase has only ever done 1 time. In the playoffs, I'm referring to Final Tribal. There are 3 spots for the playoffs. You might occupy one of them. There's still hope.
I feel good about that. I think it absolutely is possible. I do want to just quickly mention the stare down that happened when David found out that he was
I'm really glad you said that.
Getting voted out. He looked directly at Joe.
Yeah.
And Joe looked directly at him.
It was
and they just looked at each other.
It was tense.
I was looking down at the chat and my dad goes, whoa, rewind that. Really got to look at that. Look at the death stare that David just gave Joe.
But Joe ain't backing down.
No, Joe could beat David in a fight. That's actually the co-main event with me and Eva's boxing match.
They only get the co-billing on that one? That's a better
You
fight.
think I should lose the main event spot with Eva?
I think you should lose the main event and lose the main event spot. So you should lose the
not like me.
That's not what I'm just looking. I mean, come on.
I mean, that is a pretty
David
good fight.
versus Joe?
Do you think if they, because celebrities, loose term, influencer boxing matches are so big. Do you think we'll see some Survivor players start going into that field?
I think we're going to get Rome versus Sifu.
Didn't Rome participate in some sort of?
I'm sure Rome already has.
Oh, he did.
Maybe Rome commentated it.
I know, Rome does
I think that's
esports
what it
commentating.
All right.
A great episode, though.
I'm going to do a quick update of everyone's drafted teams after the elimination.
Sure.
So Bran is down to 1 player.
That's all that matters.
Shaheen, we have how many episodes left?
We have 4. I want to say 4. But Bran is down to his strongest player, the player he took in the first round. So if you're going to be left with 1,
that's what I'm saying.
It's a good one to be left with.
Yeah. Rights have Joe and Kyle.
Again, very strong team.
Very strong team. Also, their first 2 picks. Joe was number 1 for them. Kyle was number 2.
There you go.
PD still has 3 players.
It's every week I'm feeling better and better. If I could go a couple more without losing and have half of the players remaining, I'm feeling great.
I mean, I think it's possible. Is Kamilla, Eva, and Star?
I think Star is at risk because if Eva was able to use that idol in a way that could save them, it could, put the votes back onto like a Star or Mitch.
That's very true. And then I am down to 2 players with Mary and Mitch. I'm going to be honest.
That
doesn't look great for me.
That's an uphill battle, buddy.
Yeah.
I think, look, I said it in the draft episode. I think it's me or the rights. And I think
I
this
agree.
time later, it's me or the rights.
I love Mary. I would love for her to surprise me and win this season because I think she's great. But she's gonna have to start doing some big moves if she's gonna win this game.
I loved Mary, too.
Oh, PD. Oh, PD. Mary's gonna listen to this.
I love you, Mary.
Look, Mary knows I'm just like I'm in my Survivor gimmick, brother. In real life, I'd buy Mary a Miller Lite. You know?
Does she drink Miller Lite?
I don't know. I just made a guess.
Oh, okay. She seems like she would drink Miller Lite.
Man, don't splurge for the good stuff.
I'd buy her a Coors Banquet.
Whoa! That hour we're talking.
But right now, I hate you, Mary.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm just disappointed in her, and I've said it. But you know what? David's gone. I think there is a new day coming, and it starts with Mary walking back and being like, "Guys, can I tell you something?
I was playing him the whole time.
Thank you so much. You have put me out of my misery.
You got me out of a toxic relationship.
Yes. You guys, I was leading along this whole time.
Yeah,
I was trying. Exactly what I wanted to happen happened. I began to sow seeds of doubt into him, and he began to spiral, and I was just every once in a while just prodding it. If she comes back on that beach,
like, that was me the whole time.
It was me the whole. You're welcome, everybody.
And you know what? You might be onto something, because today Mary put on her Instagram story a meme of Paris Hilton that says "misunderstood but still sexy though," and the music.
It's our friend Katy.
That's Katy Perry right there.
Yeah.
You think?
It's not the Katy song I've been thinking of. The one I've been thinking about a lot is the Indian Summer song. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
She pronounces the words very bizarrely.
And she has a song called Indian Summer?
It's like the lyrics. I think it's called Thinking of You, but she goes, "It's like an Indian summer." I gotta play it. I'll play it on the Sanctuary so you can see if what I just did was accurate.
So make sure you stick around and you listen to our show later this week, The Sanctuary, where good pods happen.
Where we're going to talk about Katy. We're going to talk about Mary. I hope Mary turns it around. I hope Mary has the post-David clarity.
Ooh, post-David clarity. That's fun.
Yeah, saw him live.
We will see.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah.
Come on back next week for more.
Come on back, y'all.
Come on back.
I had a joke cut from this episode. PD's trying to silence me. He won't let me make jokes.
What? Right,
make it right now. He can't do it because of the music.
I can still mute you.
He can't do it. Chase, do it. You won't.
I have to cut something every week. I don't know why you're acting like it's a brand new thing, Chase. Big mistake.
But you like me, right?
You're about to hear some ads that help keep the lights on here in the old studio. Thanks for listening, or don't listen. It's really up to you at this point. It's at the end of the show. I mean, you're listening to me. Hi. But here they come. I promise they're coming. Yep, here they are. Happy day.